time. Excuse the bad lighting, the battery just went flat. So this is a follow-on from the last episode. In the last episode, we'd arrived back out to anchor after being stuck in a port for a year before that, and this is where it gets a little bit rough, or the beginning of it getting a little bit rough. This footage has been on YouTube before. About a year ago I actually uploaded it in what was happening live at the time, but for the sake of it just carrying on with the episodes, and anyone who's just watching the weekly episodes as they come out, it's back in there. So yeah, if you have seen it before and you want to let it play out for me, that would be great, thanks. But yeah, thought I'd just explain that. I don't want to trick anyone into recycling episodes. I'm just trying to get up to date. So the next 3 episodes will be like this, and then we'll be into new or uncharted waters. On that note, on with the video. All men are explored.
So we're having a slightly nervy, well, might be afternoon now, at anchor. Well, the wind calm, and then I checked the weather, and today was going to be windier, but it was telling me southeast, but it's coming from the south, which leaves me a little unprotected from the swell. And there's a boat behind me, and it just looks like it's got a bit closer. So I've just loaded Navionics on the phone. A tense moment of checking whether my little red arrow is in the same place. Worth noting the wind too, yeah, the wind, because we're pointing into the wind, so I'm checking on the compass, the position, and it has moved a bit more to southwest. You know, that would be perfect southwest, just here, and southwest would put us more behind them rocks just over there. Them boats had the right idea when they came in this morning with the motors, and they tucked him behind, directly behind the rocks. One of them is definitely tied onto 2 things because he's pointing that way somehow. Sometimes it's a good idea to put yourself close to one of those swim buoys, so if something started to go wrong, you could quickly put a bit of rope around it. If you started to drag anchor, you'd get in trouble if anybody saw you, but it'd stop you ending up on the rocks, which would be even more trouble. 2nd of September, and the south wind has arrived. The problem is, I don't want to go direct to Porquerolles before I go to the stack. I left some stuff in the stack which I need to pick up. and I've got to finish fixing this rigging. I've done the main part, but I need to take a piece of the running rigging off. Running rigging off, because I can maybe secure the bottom line of that, and I need to test if the turnbuckle is the same size as the piece I'm missing, and then I know where I can get a replacement one of them. I hope. Might have to do a bit of begging, borrowing and stealing. It's not stealing if you ask, I guess. Is that right? I don't know. But yeah, it's tense because you feel it coming. So last night I heard the north wind come in, and you start to hear it like, and then you get a bit like, oh, the wind is here, hope the boat stays. The north wind, if I'd have dragged anchor, I would have dragged, the anchor would probably keep reattaching, but in the direction of the sea. If that happens, okay, I wake up in the sea. It's not an ideal situation, but when the wind is coming from the south, it's, you know, if the anchor drags, I'm on the land. It's easy, and a couple of people say, oh, just go to anchor, like it's fine, it's free. However, normally in this situation, I'm a click of a button away, or when I've been in this situation before, click of a button away from putting the engine on and having to escape from the anchor. And it's more than once I've had to do that before, and I don't have that luxury. And I'm on my own now, so I've tried to get the boat ready in case it drags. I've made the decision at around 12, when it got quite strong, to just put the extra bit of chain out that was still in the locker, and try hold place, because from here to Porkerall we're looking at 35 to 40 nautical miles, and I can't, the wind would be good if the boat was, if the mast was fine and the rigging was fine, you'd get 6-7 knots quite easily, a bit of a reef in the main and Genoa. But because the mast is a bit dodgy, we'd have to like reef and go with just the head sail, which again we could do, but we don't really want to be, you know, any more than 4 knots. The boat would be slightly overpowered, considering that it's a little bit broken. So we'd end up having to go over reef, you know, we'd be looking at like 7 hours to get over there. And that's, no autopilot, that's 7 hours of fairly unprepared, sat in the cockpit, unable to leave because I'd need to keep the boat on track. So made the decision to try hold it out here till the wind passes, but it's an anxious wait. So what I've done is, I've still got a few bits to do, but cleared the deck, because it weren't clear when I came over here. Had to go back to having the V-berth set up, well, not set up, but just with everything in stored. So I've got room on the deck and in here. Set the chart table back up, not actually using the chart, but got the chart plotter on. And what I'm doing is, I have set the anchor alarm, but I'm not sure how much I trust it. And the position, it always does this, it always makes it seem like you're moving a little bit, but I've got the actual position, and I'm just going to keep a log to see if there's any evidence it has dragged. So far, touch wood, it's holding position, but the swell's probably going to get a little bit bigger, and it's a swell that worries me a little bit more than the wind. So I'd thought, because it was advertised as southeast, take it outside, it's a bit windy though, we was going to be enough behind the rocks just over there, but we're a little bit off. So these rocks on this side and the boat to this side, I'm just watching, and if suddenly they're in front of me, we have a problem. I'll try show you the plan. So the green halyard set, not halyard, it's been a while. The green chute, I always get confused with the French words and the English words, is the one tied on, because what we're gonna have to do if we start to drag, we've got to loosen this from here because it broke the other day and got stuck through here, which turns out not to be a good system. So we've cut it to get it out because there was no other way to get it out, and yeah, what we'd need to do is loosen that. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to already put the reef in, because in everything that will be going on, if that starts to shoot out, it's going to be hard to get back up and get it in while trying to steer the boat out in this direction whilst pulling up 30 meters of chain 2. So it'd be a case of pulling up the chain. Once we got the chain on, I would have to loosen the how it's tied now, let it come out to the second point. We just let, I don't know, maybe half the genoa out, quickly pull on the green, and then whilst the boat was reversing, steer to set course to go in this direction. But it's, yeah, ideally we don't have to do any of that.
Here's the thing, as an independent problem, if my only problem was the swell, you know, I'd have probably been able to deal with it. What I will say is that's the longest I've ever been with the swell hitting on the beam. It had been, you know, it was night after night, day after day, and the boat, it's uncomfortable anyway, but the boat was just making noises that I hadn't heard before. It was, you know, sleeping was difficult, and we'll get on to some of the other problems later, but it can drive you mad on a night time when you know, you're trying to sleep, the boat's moving, and I thought it was bad here, and it was about to get a lot worse. I'm not sure this is the best time to say it, but if you subscribe down below, wherever the little logo is, I will continue to show you all the harsh realities of living on a boat. I watch this back while I'm editing, just don't put it in, but there you are.
Oh. That's not stopped. That's been every morning and evening for the last 4 nights, and actually last night it was all the way through the night, and then I finally fell asleep because trying to fall asleep with that clicking, something inside the masted slapping. It's not the halyards. I pulled all of them tight, and then some swell. Could see some storm. I could see some storm in the night in the distance, and then 3 o'clock in the morning, probably just about falling asleep, and water started dripping on me. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Just want to sleep in peace. Without that clicking, man. Oh! Can't just continue at anchor like this. This is a nightmare. An actual nightmare. I'd much rather come on and tell you I'm having a nice time back out at anchor, but there's not been a nice part of it yet. It's either been blowing from the south and me worrying whether the boat's going to move, or it's been this sideways rolling, which it's testing my patience, because I've launched the chopping board from one end of the boat to the other because it kept clack, 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 clack. At least when there's a nice day in the middle of it all, you stop and think, oh, this is nice, it's worth the bad days, but I don't even know where I'm going. And yeah, this might be the hardest part of this yet. I don't know. It's approaching winter. The boat's broke. And I don't know where to go. Dark over there, dark over there. It's gonna come over here any minute, innit? That'll be fun. We already were having a fun day. I was gonna go walk to the port I used to be in, to use the internet. This is the problem with having no internet, is I can't even check. I can't even check if it's passing or if it's not passing. Just spend 5 days just waiting on things to stop before I can do anything. I've hardly got any water again too. Thanks for watching. In the next episode, things just go from bad to worse. But yeah, thanks for watching, and it took me a little bit of time to get this one out because actually my laptop has broken. Typical fashion, I get on a roll with making some videos and the laptop does not want to work anymore, and at this minute in time I am not in a position to replace it. It's not a big deal. I will be able to keep the
footage because I just recycle one SSD drive, which is a good idea actually. If you don't, if you don't want to lose all of your footage every time a laptop breaks, if you just have an SSD drive with the operating system on, that's what I do. I'm not sure it works well for me because now all I have to do is buy an old 2012 MacBook Pro and there we go, good to go again. So I don't know what's wrong with that one, it's just stopped working. But yeah, I was aiming to get one on a day, so I should be able to still get the next few ones on because the footage already exists on YouTube. And then after that, it might be a little pause until I can get to the footage I need to make the videos. But yeah, just thought I'd let you know. On that note, thanks for watching. I'm off to go cook a chicken bhuna and get my lights back on in real time. So yeah, as always, if you could give the video a thumbs up, it helps a lot because YouTube is against me at the minute, but that's a story for another day.